Well, hey guys, good morning. It is Tuesday. That means it is time for Tuesday Table Talk.
Woo!
So this morning, here is our theme, guys. I want to talk about grace. I want to talk about grace, all right? Big subject, so I'm going to rein it in a little bit.
Yeah.
And kind of here's where I feel like the Lord is leading. So hopefully you guys know by now, but every day this week we are going to commit as a church to pray for our students and our teachers and our leaders as everyone goes back to school in whatever method they're doing that for. And one of the things I've seen is if you're on social media, there just seems to be so much division. Right?
Yeah.
So there's division, and there's frustration, and there's anger. And so one of the things we've really stressed in our house with our kids is a need for grace. So explain to them, like, hey guys, your dad, like, I'm in a situation at work every day where we don't have all the answers, and we're doing the best we can. And it's like, you gotta know that people have come up with plan A and plan B and plan C and plan D, and everything is changing. And so what's needed, it's really like our go-to, typically, because we don't walk in the Spirit, is frustration. Right? Yeah. But frustration is not a fruit of the Spirit of God.
Exactly.
And so what happens, what I think is really needed is just this extra dose of grace. And so I began to think on this. Is it really possible? Here's my question to open. Is it really possible to love people, which that's the second greatest commandment, right? That's part of our motto here. We're going to love God, we're going to love people, we're going to do something. That means we're going to be doers of the word. So is it possible really to love people without grace? And explain why or why not, why you think grace is so important in that. And so I'll kick it to Catherine to start. She's in deep contemplative thought.
I think that's a great question. When I think about grace, I think about a free gift that we don't deserve. And I know myself, and I'm very imperfect. And God gives me so much grace. And I can only imagine if the frustration level he could have if he did not give me grace and forgiveness. And so in our life, our journey is to know more about Christ, get closer with Christ, reflect more of Christ. And I think over our lifetime, we learn a little bit more each step. And so us being able to act in the way of Christ and being able to give that free gift of grace, I think it's not only for other people, but it's for ourselves, because we don't have to sit in that frustration. And we get to show a little bit more of Jesus to other people. And I know how thankful and grateful I am. Just imagine receiving that. And what a difference it makes in our days.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I love that question too. Because no, you can't love people without extending grace to them. And there's a phrase I heard a while back from a pastor. And he said, grace received becomes grace extended. And so, Catherine kind of just summed it up right there. But because we have received grace freely, we're meant to give it freely as well. And as the body of Christ, as ambassadors and representatives of the kingdom of heaven, we're not representing Christ well when we aren't gracious to others. Just because you're having a bad day, just because you're slightly inconvenienced.
By the way, we're all having bad days.
Right, we're all having bad days.
Like 5 months of bad days.
Right, exactly. Oh my gosh, yes. This whole season has been one fat, stupid, bad day.
The year, right? The year.
This whole 2020.
Oh, 2020.
Dude, I'm hoping 2021 is awesome. But
so just because we're having bad days.
Just because you're having a bad day does not mean the other person who is inconvenienced to you isn't also having a bad day. And as a representative of Christ, you and I, all of us, we are called to extend grace constantly, whether we want to or not. The Christ-like mindset is wrapped in grace. The whole reason we get to know Christ is because of grace. And so if you have received grace, which Christians, you have extend it, and extend it freely. It doesn't matter where they come from. It doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter what political leanings they have. It doesn't matter, if they've wronged you this many years ago, whatever their lifestyle is like. It doesn't matter, because to Christ it didn't matter. He extended grace and love constantly. So that's all I gotta say. That's my soapbox.
That's all. Just a small soapbox.
Just a little.
Yeah, just a little bit. Well, there's a couple things you guys said, and one is we talk about freely extending. So we have to freely extend grace, which means that nothing is dependent on.
Right. Exactly.
And so we talk about kind of one of the things. I heard this story. I'm just going to share it with you guys. Heard this story the other day of people returning back to school, and there was a registrar in an office that every parent that came in was angry and was yelling, and this poor lady just finally, I think it was like day 2, and she quit. She said, I'm done. I can't. I didn't sign up for this. I haven't served my whole career here just so people can come in and yell at me. And I just kind of broke my heart a little bit just hearing this story, because as we're talking about praying for our people that go back to school, like, guys, this is crucial. I'm going to tell you here at the church, for every major event, and we've had lots of them in the last 5 months, we have had plan A's and plan B's and plan C's and plan D's, and those things don't work out, and there's reasons, and everything's changing, and some of that is out of our hands. And what I'm saying to you guys is somebody is at some point here in the next week, in the last month, in the coming months, they're not going to be able to do what you want them to do. Right? And you're going to think that they're just trying to tick you off. That's what you're going to think.
You're doing this on
You're
purpose.
against me. And here's what let me tell you. What you may not understand is there are 5 things in the background going on that are all causing changes that are above their pay grade. And so what they're actually doing is they're doing the best that they can. And so here's what I'm going to say. Listen, in life, especially in this season when it comes to school, I just think grace is crucial. And so I think about the parable of the unmerciful servant, right? And so this is this heart, who owes so much debt, and the king forgives it. And then he goes out and finds somebody that just owes him a few bucks, and he throws him in jail, and all those kind of things. And then I think about what the king did to that man. Folks, you don't want the king to do to you what he did to that man. Right? That's not what. And the point of the parable again is man, look at what God has done for us.
Right.
And so as believers, as people of Christ, especially during the school season, but man, we're coming up into political season, so I'm just going to tell you, it applies there too. We've got to be these extenders of grace where we stop saying, well, I'll treat you this way if you do this.
Right.
It's not dependent, right? It's not dependent. So we'll close it with this, practical ways this week that we can extend grace to another. And specifically, let's focus on schools, teachers, principals, superintendents, those kind of things. What can our children? Our children, as they're trying to do online learning, kids that are watching, how you could extend it to your parents who may not understand the technology. So what are some practical ways we can extend grace this week?
So when I think about this question, I think about students, and I don't have any kiddos of my own, but I have been working with my niece, Sam, and seeing her experience of everything. And it's been really cool to watch my sister extend grace to Sam and saying, hey, there's a lot going on here, and we might not know how to do everything, but let's not strive for perfection or getting every single thing done, but let's strive to do what we can do and keep that desire to learn going, and let's be flexible and reach out to our teacher and have grace-filled conversations on, hey, we're all learning how to do this. What are ways that we can tackle this hurdle that's come up and this hurdle that's come up, and let our speech be kind, and continue to build up our teachers who are doing a ton of work, but also have grace for our kiddos so that in this crazy 2020 school experience, we can still have that desire to learn in our kiddos and not make them feel like they're unable to succeed or to learn. So
and I would kind of second that as well. Just as someone who kind of comes from a long line of like teachers and school administrators and like high school counselors, all that stuff, like these people are already working so hard. And in fact, we even have teachers in our church family who know exactly what I'm talking about here. It feels like you're pretty much arranging stuff for 2 different classes, because you've got these kids who are meeting in person, and then you've got these kids who are meeting online. So you're kind of going back and forth playing this game, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of adjustment. And then even with school administrators, they're still trying to figure out what the school year is going to look like.
Yeah.
So if you call them up in their office during the day, asking them what the entire year is going to look like, their answer to you is going to be, they don't know. And the reality is we have to be okay with living in a year of not knowing, because this whole year has been a big, giant question mark. And so we need to have grace and extend that same grace that we would want to extend it to us, towards our teachers, towards our school administrators, because they're trying as hard as they can.
Yes.
And you know what? One of the best ways that you can love them and be gracious to them is instead of chewing them out, I would encourage you to, and this is my challenge, I would encourage you to find ways you can come alongside your schools and your school districts and see what are some ways that we can be loving the schools, what are some ways we can be helping out, what are some ways that we can be making this easier for the teachers, for the administrators, for the whole staff and faculty, because this has been such a crazy year, and they, like us, don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
You don't have all the answers. Why would they have all the answers? And so partner with them. See what ways you can even just be praying for them. Like whatever that looks like, I would encourage you to reach out and love on them the best way you can and see what you can do to help out. So,
absolutely. And guys, for me, I think it comes down to perspective, right? And so we need to remember that people are not against us.
Yeah.
I mean, like, things are going to happen. You're going to get frustrated during the season.
Right.
Things are not going to go your way, and it's really easy to go, man, so-and-so's against me, or they don't care about me, or blah, blah, blah. And listen, we are all, like, huge biblical principle, we're all in the same boat.
Yes.
I mean, the Bible says, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Like a huge principle. We're all in the same boat, and we're all in this together. And we're not going to get out of this by trying to constantly place blame or think that people are against us. Well, it's these people, or it's this school, or it's that politician, or it's this group of it's the TAs. We've got to stop placing blame, and we've got to understand we're all in this together. And the only way out of this season is together.
Right.
And everybody is doing the best they can. Listen, nobody hates you in the school system. Nobody hates your kids. Nobody wants to see them fail. Not here, not around anywhere here, not in the state of Texas. People care about the education of your kids. And I know it looks different for you, and maybe you're struggling at home, and maybe you were already a stay-at-home mom, and you've got a young one you're raising, and now you're trying to homeschool people, and it's just, I get it. It can be a mess, and so I want to extend that same grace to you that we want to extend to others. And so here's what I think the key is. I think the key is gratitude.
Yeah.
So if we're going to talk about
Big
grace,
time.
I think one of the keys to grace is gratitude and learning to find the good. And so the good is you've got teachers that already had a job that was like 2 jobs because they'd work all day and then go home and grade papers and they had to put lesson plans, all that stuff. In addition to that, now they're teaching online classes, which is a whole new thing for them. So now they're working 3 jobs. So be grateful. Man, just show some gratitude. You've got school administrators who normally have everything planned out. They know what days are teacher days, and they whole counters, and we're all like grasping at straws, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so what we can do is in the midst is be grateful for the people that are working really hard to make this happen. And so I want to encourage you, if you're watching this, you're probably already on social media. So use that platform. Write letters, send emails on social media. Just say what you're thankful. I'm so thankful that our school district has worked so hard to do this, this, and this. Yeah. Does that mean that every day that the technology works? No. Does it mean that all the teachers have got Google Classroom down and they've figured out Hangouts? No. It means they're working. They're still working hard. And so just be grateful. Laugh. Every once in a while, just laugh and go, like watch it and go, well, she's trying, bless her heart.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. We've got to learn to embrace this moment. And guys, because God has embraced us.
That's right.
Because God's embraced us. So, guys, that's what we're going to encourage you to do. Man, be thankful. Go love somebody this week and extend the grace that you have received. All right? We love you so much. Have a great week.
See y'all.
Bye.
All right, bye.